A to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
Welcome to the 8K Wrestling Show. Welcome to the Ringside Report, where WWE releases coming soon.
Ooh. Well, plans for Logan Paul return are revealed. Don't know why I didn't say Paul's.
Speaking of plans, Hulk Hogan planning to wrestle at WrestleMania 40.
Speaking of 40, the 40-hour-long run. WWE is once again discussing a more adult third hour of Raw.
Speaking of things that are more adult, Anthony Dark Side of the Ring returns this week.
Speaking of things that are returning, or not in this case, Jordynne Grace is leaving Impact Wrestling.
Oh, well, speaking of people who are leaving, Alicia Fox recently left wrestling, but she's coming back, damn it.
Speaking of coming back, Undertaker is coming back to the UK, Carl, this July on his One Dead Man show.
Speaking of dead narc, yeah. Rikishi also coming back to WWE, potentially, to be involved in the Bloodline angle. Anthony, when's all's coming up?
All coming up right friggin' now.
Yes, it is. Still didn't say freaking. Not even frickin'. Seth. You know what? Seth should be Seth frickin' Rollins. That would be a much better gimmick. He's just walking around banging into things, going frick. It's like, that's the thing. But so it's that time again. WWE releases on the horizon, Anthony.
We should. You know what? You always do this prediction series. Do a prediction series on the releases, man.
Do you think you know what?
Just put a fucking tournament bracket out there. Who's going to be released, and we'll see who wins that.
Seems like the most insensitive things we could do.
Okay, yeah, take your point.
We
are talking about people's livelihoods. It's probably quite insensitive.
Who should get fired today? What about little Timmy? Fuck little Timmy. I won prediction series.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, there's people in WWE who probably know. Like, the minute they mentioned the releases, they were probably like, "Well, that's me. Pretty soon, that's me." And they're just going to keep as quiet as possible and hope that they don't get noticed. Yeah. And then Triple H one day will be like, "You're still here?"
Yeah. I mean, there was that story, wasn't there? Was it Vince didn't he didn't know it was Shelton or something? He just thought it was like, she's like, "Oh, you're not Shelton." So I don't think he even. Well, you never know.
I mean, the best one I've heard about releases was the story about Haku.
Oh yeah,
Eric Bischoff was too scared to fire him.
He just
kept him working at WCW and had nothing for him.
The smartest thing Eric's ever done in his entire life.
I just love that. I really hope that's not a myth. I really hope that's true. That Eric Bischoff just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep him on the payroll. It's easier.
Just imagine Haku looking at him. He's like, "Nah, April Fool's."
It's fine. You just do your thing.
Yeah. Well, speaking about not being terrible people and predicting people's firings. Anyone who's watching this may see I've taken liberties and stuck Hit Row and Shanky on there.
Hit Row's a lock. I mean, let's be honest, they brought them back with just the one member missing, wasn't it? But like the actual one that had what's the word? What did I say on it?
Was it Swerve?
Yeah.
Was it Sneaky Swerve?
Yeah. But none of them really had the mic skills beyond that. So it didn't really work. They wanted it to be a thing.
No.
The more concerning thing with WWE with the previous releases has been they've had some proper wild releases where you're like, I did not expect them to get rid of that person.
No.
And for much as you either love him or hate him, Braun Strowman was one of them shocks.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Bray. We don't know where he is now again.
Well, but even Bray wasn't as shocking to me because you go, well, there had been something going on. I don't think the release was because they were like, well, we're making budget cuts. I think there was something there conversation-wise. Whereas Braun was just kind of like, yeah, he's costing us too much money and we have nothing for him, so off he pops. And you're like, really? Braun?
Yeah. Well,
surprising.
Yeah. I don't know who it's going to be this time, to be honest, but, a lot of people who love Papa H and all the amazing things he's done to bring WWE back to the all that. What he did do was rehire a lot of people who haven't really done a whole hell of a lot.
So, you know what's like really going to make your blood boil?
Go on.
Right. For a fact, Twitter especially are going to be all over these releases and go, see what happened? Vince McMahon come back to do the Endeavour deal and now he's releasing people again and Triple H will still not get any fire for this.
Yeah. He's not like I don't get it. He's allowed to. He's not perfect. He's allowed to make mistakes.
Well, he's allowed to release people as well, but
exactly.
they won't attribute any of that to him.
Exactly.
No, he's not the bad news guy.
Of everyone who he's brought back, 99% of them have been flops. Haven't they? Let's be honest. I can't think who stands out here as someone who kind of came back and you were like, whoa, this was such a good idea to bring them back.
Hold on. Hold on, I'm working on it. Honestly, it kind of like almost vindicates the decisions. Again, don't want to see anyone out of a job, but when you go, well, they had to make budget cuts, and did it really hurt the company? No.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know.
I'm struggling.
It's one of them. You can also look at the draft. People who just didn't get drafted or were like.
I mean, I'll stand by this that Karrion Kross was a definite good call to bring back, and once again, they're just not booking him. I don't understand it because they could book him properly.
Yeah.
Just doesn't happen. Didn't happen the first time. It's not happening this time. I don't know why they can't book him into something decent.
Do you know my problem with Karrion?
Go on.
It's not authentic. Because all he's got is this whole TikTok and an hourglass and a smoking hot wife, right?
Do you not think, I mean...
That's it.
Do you not think, though, it worked better in NXT because he actually had a story? Like, the gimmick's there, but there's no plot.
Yeah.
So how do you get behind it? He's like, the Herald of Doomsday, and... Well, I'm going to pick on Ray, maybe.
Well, that's it. He comes out,
but then
splashes people.
But then Ray's getting involved in the LWO
TikTok,
stuff, so I'm just going to get sidelined.
Loses a lot.
Yeah, and this is sort of the problem I had with LA Knight, in that I don't really have a problem with LA. I don't really have a problem with LA Knight. I have a problem with the fact that they're booking him into obscurity, and then when people want him to have a push and people are like, he's a future main event star, I'm just looking at how he's currently being used and going... How? How? When all he does is lose to people, how is he a future man? And it's the same problem.
But he's very over though, isn't he? Let's be honest.
But he's over. He's over to spite the booking though.
Yeah.
Like shockingly so to spite the booking because I had no previous sort of. I weren't there at TNA. I weren't enjoying him as Eli Drake. So I have no real like opinion other than what I've seen. And this is where I think the difference for me comes from, because so many people are like, oh, LA Knight, he's amazing. He's like this generation's Stone Cold and all this bollocks, right? Even though he's not far off the same age as Stone Cold, but whatever. And then like I'm looking at it going, so he comes out, he says a few catchphrases. He hasn't really got much else to say because he's not even sure who he's fighting week to week, and he's consistently lost or been involved in maximum male models, which is just fucking shite. So again, I'm like, where's this this really over guy? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'm not. That's not to say he couldn't be.
Yeah, it's a very interesting time. I think like the roster is quite bloated again because of all the people they brought back. There's not a lot of exposure for several of them. You've also got to factor in NXT as well. Now they were quite open and said that people are going to be given a year or so in NXT to see whether we think the main roster worthy. If they're not, we're just going to get rid of them. I
think, like, the same... Well, I mean, what do you do with NXT then? Because you go, well, they're not main roster worthy, so we're going to get rid. So it's like, well, what's NXT going to be full of then?
Yeah.
Because presumably the main roster worthy people are going up to the main roster. Well, exactly. So why you've deemed them worthy. So what's NXT going to be full of?
Yeah, I imagine it's at this point, do we ever see them being on the main roster in the future? Like, after another year or two in NXT? And they go, nah, then
also,
no point.
How's Scripps still there?
He needs to go. He's going to be one of them.
Oh yeah, don't care about his livelihood, do you?
Flippy shits. But yeah, so I don't know. It's terrible for anyone who's going to receive that call. I don't know who's making the calls now. It won't be Johnny Ace, will it? So, but
they bought a whole new roll of bin bags though. Sorry.
So yeah. Sad times, I think, but apparently it's going to be before July, so I'm guessing before Money in the Bank.
Ironic. Yeah. Well, now we've got lots of.
Yeah. We need more Money in the Bank while you go away with none. So yeah, let's see what happens. But I do think there's a lot of, I think, yeah, it's kind of obvious certain people you'd expect to be in danger.
Agreed. Tell you, he's not in danger though, Carl. That's one Logan Paul. So there's been some sort... I love how the headlines are always like... And we're just as bad. But I love how the headlines are all like, Logan Paul's return confirmed. And then you read it and it's like, it might be this or this. And you're like,
no, yeah.
So it hasn't been confirmed. And I'm here to tell you the truth. Maybe not headline it this way, but I'm here to tell you the truth that we don't know. We don't know when he's coming back. But it seems likely to be Money in the Bank. The talks at the minute from a creative point of view are Money in the Bank or SummerSlam. Or Money in the Bank to get him to SummerSlam, or something along that line. But unless you're in creative, you don't fucking know. Yeah. So no one really fucking knows. So question mark. I think Money in the Bank's a good shout.
Yeah, I think.
Would you have him win it? I don't know.
Well,
they seem to be quite big on him and have him labelled as like
we've already had KSI over at WrestleMania. So when they come to London, it would make sense for KSI to be all over that shit.
KSI's like sort of publicly declared, nah, he's that won't hurt.
That's what he's gonna say.
That's true. But he also said I didn't elbow him.
Well, yeah.
For those who didn't watch that match,
straight elbow.
It was a straight elbow. It's actually been they've thrown it out. Yeah, it's not a win in the records for him now.
All right.
I don't know if it. I mean, because it's not like professional boxing league or whatever, is it? So
I think you still have the record. So it'd be like 3 wins, whatever.
That's a no contest or something. No, apparently they've overturned it.
Well,
I mean, I do genuinely believe, not to digress, I do genuinely believe he didn't realise he elbowed him.
Yeah.
Because he went for it.
Yeah.
And then the guy went down and he hasn't realised he's connected. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, you'd expect maybe he could feel it, but it's very close quarters.
Where it gets tricky is when you're fighting in your own promotion. And it's like, well, I don't have to make it a no contest if I don't. So at least he has.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's the fair thing to do. But there's a lot of footage there where it's quite clear the elbow connected as well. And I genuinely think he didn't realise, because he made a very valid point on his YouTube saying, like, why would I put in all that work because I was winning?
To throw an elbow.
Yeah, because he was. I mean, to be fair, I don't know if you watched it, but he was. He was consistently the better fighter in that match. So, why would you throw it away?
Yeah, exactly. So, back on to Logan Paul. I think he'll be there.
Sorry.
Because of KSI.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be something, isn't there, with the sidemen?
Yeah, and it makes sense for him to be at SummerSlam as well with the marquee stuff. I think they've already said with Roman, there's plans for him to definitely be at Money in the Bank and SummerSlam up to now. So.
The question is, though, for Logan at the minute, let's say you go to Money in the Bank, right? I think he'd be a fairly solid option for winning the Money in the Bank. But then if you had him winning Money in the Bank, he goes up against Roman again or Seth. Sorry, spoilers. Both of which he's done. So what do you do with that?
There is that. I don't think he'll end up winning. I mean, I wouldn't be massively surprised if he won it, because it's a great marketing thing. Him going everywhere with a fucking briefcase.
Oh yeah,
it's something you could give him that isn't a title to rubbish the title.
To be fair, and you'd have it on his podcast and all that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd have it visible everywhere. So
probably have Pokemon cards in it or something.
Well, exactly. So from an advertising standpoint, I could absolutely see it. But yeah, it's obviously the thing is, what is the Money in the Bank's worthless now? If you look at everyone who's won it, like other than Liv Morgan last year. Every other time it's been won in the last couple of years, it's been pointless. They've either lost it beforehand or
this new bullshit of like you can put the briefcase on the line, kind of.
Yeah.
Or you can lose it in some sort of fake courtroom with JBL as the judge, which still fucking hurts. Still does me head in.
Yeah.
No one should ever let that man be a judge. Not even play pretend.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. So Logan Paul may be back, and he may be back.
He may be back, and it's probably SummerSlam. No, it's probably Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
it's probably SummerSlam in the Bank.
Yeah, SummerSlam in the Bank. Love it. Speaking of people who we might get to see back, Anthony, WrestleMania 40 is the one and only Hulk Hogan. So he was interviewed by someone somewhere, because we're dead good at what we do. We remember these things.
Yeah.
And he said that the plan for WrestleMania 39 for this year that's just happened, Shane McMahon called him up and asked him if he's ready to go. So
and then he quickly realised Shane McMahon doesn't work for WWE.
Well, yeah.
The fuck is that?
So, by all accounts, Shane tried his best to get Hogan out of retirement for Mania 39 to face him, because that's what people wanted to see. And Hogan essentially said he's still not right. He's got to have another surgery on his back. He's got to get his strength up and all that kind of stuff. So what he has said now, Hogan, is he's not ruling out WrestleMania 40. So he's going to see how he is over the next month or two, and he'll be able to basically see whether or not he's going to be able to do it. But when he was asked by the interview, well, are you going to fight Shane then? Well, who would you like to fight? He basically said, well, all along, the reason I came back at WrestleMania 18 was to fight Stone Cold Steve Austin. It never happened, and he got The Rock.
So he wants Austin.
So he wants Hogan Austin at WrestleMania 40.
Okay, look. Austin, when we saw him, looked great, right? And for he's in incredible shape. However, these are both people who are not, they're retired wrestlers.
Yeah.
Right. The Austin KO match was great, and this is no slight to Austin at all. I want to say this, and I think it was a very wise decision what he did. But that was largely because KO could look after the man. And, I think it was an absolute credit to KO that he was trusted in that way. But to have two retired wrestlers fight each other, it's either going to be very quick, very silly spots that, it doesn't really culminate to much, or they're going to take some risks.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd like to see either, personally.
No, for me, and anyone knows how much I love Bret Hart, you can see this picture behind me with the legend himself, the one with Bret.
Oh.
But this reeks of like Vince versus Bret, like how bad it would be. Like it's two people who shouldn't be in the ring, really. Now, maybe I'm being harsh there on Austin, because as you said, he did have a good showing at WrestleMania Dallas. But
Austin would be the one who had to carry the match.
Yeah. Which I think after
I don't think it's fair that he should have to carry the match.
No. And knowing Hogan, he probably wants to go over as well.
I mean, carrying a match with Hogan's relatively easy, isn't it? What I want you to do is take the clothesline, lie there.
Let me
take the leg
drop, and then just let me pin you.
I'm going to no-sell you,
yeah,
but that's going to be a thing,
yeah,
right? Even though, you know, it's frowned upon when any other wrestler does it. I'm going to no-sell you as my gimmick.
Hogan, that's what I do.
And then I'm going to take the win, and Austin's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? I'm sure there's a portion of wrestling fans out there who love to see Hogan have his retirement match, and actually, you know, get to go out on his terms and all that good stuff. And WrestleMania 40, the spectacle of it all, is there room to fit in a Hogan retirement match? Maybe.
I personally, I loved that retirement he had in WWE when he had his last run, when he became Mr. America and then came out randomly one week on SmackDown, revealed his face, and then was never seen again.
No, it's good job you did that, because I had no idea.
Sorry, spoilers.
You know what I mean?
And then we never saw him again. I thought, except for WrestleMania.
Oh yeah,
when he was doing his "I'm Not Racist" tour.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I remember.
You remember the one?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. I'm talking a bit of shit, mostly just to amuse myself. But I understand Hogan was a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like bigger than I probably ever sort of give him credit for, because I wasn't in that era. But obviously, the golden age of wrestling.
He was wrestling. When
he was wrestling. Everyone knew him. Household name. More so than any wrestler ever has been or probably ever will be. So I've got to give credit where credit's due, and I understand why they would want him in a Mania match. I just really don't think it should be against another retired wrestler.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, we might see him back on WrestleMania 40.
We might.
We might.
Right, so again, still not really much news on this one, but
that good news episode this weekend.
No, we're just keeping you updated. So Nick Khan's been recently asked again about Raw, and he has made it clear that they are not looking at extending the running times at all, Carl. So the Raw will still remain at 3 hours, but the third hour will still very much be looking at being retooled, and this will be hopefully a more adultier
Raw Underground.
Well, I hate to say it, but they did reference the previous attempts, and one of them being Raw Underground, and I just kind of hope that they don't class Raw Underground as a success, because it fucking wasn't. But it seems that the plan is going ahead, that they're going to try and do something. I just hope it's not obvious, if that makes sense. I just hope that they use that third hour when they need to do something a bit grittier.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Rather than going, well, it's the third hour, you know what that means, and you know, all the banners, or this new logo they've got suddenly turns black instead of white, you know, or something stupid like that. I think they need to just like be aware that they can just naturally flex a bit on that. Yeah,
just have it feel kind of.
It's like getting the R rating and then just suddenly start swearing.
I know,
Well, you know, it needs to make sense too.
Yeah, and it also only comes into play in the third hour, right? So they need to have a PG show up until this point.
The only thing I'll accept is if, like, literally as the clock turns over, the swear word comes in.
Yeah. Here's another thing.
You prick! Yeah. But the prick was like literally on the third hour.
But it's like a load of PG words. You stinky nosed, yellow bellied, ding, cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he did that, I'll accept it.
And bravo on the time. Yeah. So basically, if you listen to any Nick Khan interview over the last couple of weeks, they're open to do anything. They're open to give it, you know, a more risque third hour. SmackDown might go 3 hours. They might have a whole section dedicated to I don't know, dog wrestling. Who knows?
Even if they're just meta about this moodier third hour, you can get the beginning of the night. Cody's there, and he's like, I've got things I need to say to you, but they can only be wait till the third hour. You know, just something like that, where they're quite aware that it's like. That's when we can be edgy.
That's such a Cody.
If they're so meta, and Cody is very meta.
He is very, very meta. So the next one to talk about, keep it brief, but Dark Side of the Ring is returning to our screens on Tuesday of this week, 30th of May. And there's some interesting episodes lined up for this. So the first one kicking off the premiere is the Chris and Tammy story. So obviously Chris Candido and Sonny, everything that's gone on there. Then we've got Shattered, the Magnum TA story. Breaking the Cycle, the Graham Dynasty, what happened to Doink the Clown, Junkyard Dog, Tragic Fall of Adrian Adonis, Bash at the Beach 2000, Abdullah the Butcher, Legacy of Blood, Bam Bam Bigelow, The Beast from the East, and it's ending, Anthony, on the 8th of August with The World According to Marty Jannetty.
I love how they're calling it The World According to Marty. Even in the title of that, they're saying this might or may not be true. We honestly can't be sure anymore.
Yeah. That's going to be fucking fascinating.
Yeah. Honestly, that could be a TV series in and of itself.
Yeah. And like, don't get
I
me
would
wrong.
watch The World According to Marty Jannetty if they had like a full season run.
Yeah. That would be insane. But to be fair, I don't want to shit on the other episodes, but it's a hell of a bookend in place here. Obviously, Chris and Tammy kicking things off and then ending with Marty Jannetty's side of things. But
although, I must admit, I don't know why it's sticking out to me, but the Doink the Clown stuff, I'm super intrigued by, because obviously multiple Doinks over the years, presumably they're talking about the original Doink.
Wow.
But, yeah, like...
maybe all of them, where they all went and why, and all the paths they travelled. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of Dark Side of the Ring. I think it's a great piece of TV, and I'm glad it's back, and I'm looking forward to... I mean, saying like a great piece of TV, obviously it's awful. The episodes, like, you do...
Yeah, it's...
There's been some bad episodes on there. Like
horribly fascinating.
Yes, that's the best way to put it. But yeah, it's back on Tuesday. So
I don't think they're going to use that quote as a selling point.
They should. Perfectly sums it up.
Horribly fascinating, AZK.
I'm so sorry I switched over to Jordynne Grace, as you said. Horribly fascinating.
I know, yeah, out of context.
Anyone
that's
who
not
wants
going
to
to help
clip this and send it to Jordynne,
brilliant.
That was out of context.
Fucking wonderful. So, Carl, Jordynne Grace, one of the best things in Impact's female division. And before we went on the air, I mentioned this, that Impact seems to be having a bit of a shocker at the minute in terms of female talent. They, for a very long time, had a very good women's division, but if you look over the last couple of years, when you go, well, the Iconics are gone, Jordynne Grace is now gone, which I'll go into in a bit more detail. Mickey James is injured, just seems to be plagued with big stars not being part of the show. Tessa Blanchard being probably one of the first ones that they had go as well. So unfortunately, Carl, Jordynne Grace has apparently her contract was due to expire, or is actually already expired, but it was one of them injury extensions. So because she took a bit of time off due to injury, she was under a temporary extension. That extension's now come to an end. By all accounts, officially, we're being told that she has chose to take some time off. So this isn't like, I'm leaving, I'm going somewhere else, or maybe I'll go back to Ring of Honor or anything like that. This is just Jordynne's not renewing a contract, and she's not coming back to Impact, or certainly not for the foreseeable. However, the rumour mill, because of interactions in social media and such in the past, and the notable one being that Jordynne sort of making it clear that she'd like to go up against Rhea Ripley, for instance. A lot of people are suggesting, is this going to be going to another promotion, or particularly WWE, something along that line?
Maybe.
I think WWE would be, what's the word? Foolish not to be interested in a free agent such as Jordynne. So, yeah, be interesting to see what happens. But as it stands right now, she is a free agent.
Yeah, I think she's been getting into the kind of bodybuilding competitions.
Yes, she has. I think she won a debut one, didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, I don't quite know how the ranking works. She won a ton of ribbons. I don't know if that means winning it or ranking highly in some case. I say I don't know how the system
maybe
works.
she wants to kind of put a bit more attention on that at the minute. Must be hard to maintain kind of bodybuilding while
I think that's the trouble, isn't it? Because there's very specific physique you have to have for bodybuilding, which I suppose aids the look of in wrestling, but like you say, when you're taking bumps and such like that, and it is obviously a competition based on the look and the physique, then maybe you want to avoid like bruises and shit. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, you would think so, but who knows? But big loss for Impact,
indeed,
for the time being. So this next one, again, short and sweet, but Alicia Fox, who was still employed with WWE up until very recently, we came to realise. So we found out when she removed, obviously on Instagram and all her social medias, any reference to Alicia Fox, we then found out essentially that she'd not long been released, so she was still with the company all this time. But Booker T, on his podcast, revealed that he spoke to Alicia and she wants to come down and knock some of the rust off at Reality of Wrestling and get a bit of insight and knowledge as far as what this journey may be that she's getting ready to partake in. So I wonder basically whether she's now planning to go onto the indies and stuff and wants to get an understanding of what it's like to work outside of WWE and that kind of thing. So
I'm slightly fascinated by Alicia as of late, and that was, I can't remember who it was now, but one of the current WWE roster made it very clear that like she's one of the nicest people and really looks after you and such backstage. And I found that really interesting because the parallel in a public sense There's always been like a bit of dislike for her for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm just so sort of curious about how like her career now and like how she's ended up with a sort of negative rep with the fans, but so beloved backstage when no one's even really been very open. Not that they've been hiding it, but at the same time, I've not heard anyone say that too often. But it seems like it's just a known thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's
mad, isn't it? Yeah, it is mad from that aspect. But she also didn't she say something this week as well, saying that it's like, I can't remember the terminology she used, but it's like she hasn't been released. That's just the media or whatever. And I was like, right. So I don't really know exactly what's going on, but based on Booker T, if she's wanting to go and check out there and get more understanding on like indies and stuff, then who knows?
So Booker T's kind of confirming that.
Well, perhaps.
So, Carl, another relatively quick one, but one that is super exciting for people like ourselves, Carl, who are over here in the UK, where it rains as well as it. No, wait. No, there's some sort of saying in there. Anyway, Undertaker, Carl, has got 4 dates scheduled in for Scotland and England in this year, actually. Most recently, I want to say it was the 2nd of July. Is it on your screen there? Maybe. In Wolverhampton. Which isn't that far, really.
So he's doing it in London, which is obviously the day. Is that day of Money in the Bank, 1st of July? So he's obviously doing it around Money in the Bank. He's then gone to Wolverhampton.
Wolverhampton feels random as fuck, I'll be honest.
And then Manchester and Glasgow.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about how Wolverhampton ended up in the mix. Fair play to them, you know. But yeah, Carl, he's in the country, which means that we probably will go. We should go see him and then never follow up with it.
Yeah, we do that a lot. Yeah. I have registered for the pre-sale tickets. So let's see how fast they can sell out. Okay. But who knows? We'll probably definitely not be seeing you in Manchester. But you know,
or you never know. We might take a really goony picture with him where we realise exactly how tall that guy is.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That, to be fair. But yeah, fair play to him bringing it over here. I can't imagine what a one-man show is like with the Undertaker, if I'm honest. But
I feel like I can't imagine it's going to be like a stand-up routine. I'll be honst, Carl.
I still think oh no, that was his podcast, wasn't it?
Is he at some point going to sit down on a stool and be like, "Let me rap with you"?
Yeah.
No,
it was just it's like, any heckles, and it just comes back with zingers. No,
imagine he's like Jimmy Carr levels of like savage.
I do. Whoa. But yeah, we came up with different names for it, didn't we? We were like Dead Man Talking and stuff like that. Yeah, we had better names. But was it for his one man show or his podcast? I can't remember.
We were saying a podcast because obviously there is it Talking Taker, I think they went with, or something along that line.
Well, it's not even out yet, is it? Godfather was like, I recorded this episode ages
ago. I know, right?
It's like,
still not released. Maybe it's once the one Dead Man show's done. But no, I feel like there was a name suggested like that. This is what they're going with. But yeah, like Dead Man Talking just makes sense.
It does.
Unless there's like loads of angry Weekend at Bernie's fans, like it's not what I signed up for.
You never know. But the last one to leave you with is based on the recent developments at Night of Champions. So spoilers ahead. Anthony's already spoiled most of it anyway. Well, at least for the world title picture. But yeah, the Usos, well specifically Jimmy Uso, turned on Roman in the main event of the night.
What?
So now the Usos are in some serious doo-doo with the Tribal Chief. But their daddy, Rikishi, has been posting on Twitter. He put, "Stay in your lane. Enough, ... and so it shall be done." And then a picture of like the blood droplet. So
would it be funny if he's talking about coming and disciplining his kids?
I know, yeah.
Stop hitting your cousin.
Yeah. How cool would that be? Like he comes out and they think, "Yeah, Daddy's here," and he just beats them up and goes, "I taught you better than this." But do you want to see Rikishi come back as part of this Bloodline feud?
Yeah,
keep it in the family.
I don't want to see him in the ring. All due respect.
You want to see him get like speared by Roman though?
No, I kind of just I the odd spot here and there would be fine. I kind of just want him to be like almost a figurehead of, like, especially from our era. So like this, I think, is a good example of like how far back the Bloodline goes. You know, we've had sort of nods like this before. Do you know what I mean? And people always go, "Oh, the Rock." And it's like Rikishi though is a well-respected member of that family, so yeah, it just makes sense.
Yes, it does.
And for our generation who grew up with Rikishi,
maybe this is how we get to the Rock. Like Rock will come out and be like, "I did it for Rikishi," and then goes full circle, and then we get Roman versus Rock. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if Rikishi lays out Roman and he did it for the Rock?
that one, so yeah, that'll be good storytelling. But yeah, so I'd be down for that. Happy to see Rikishi back as part of this. I like how many layers it's got.
Indeed.
Keeps developing. So yeah, that was the news for this week.
Yes, it was.
As always, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're listening to this, thank you very much. We appreciate it. What can you tell listeners to do? Download the episode, subscribe again,
put a review in
now,
say how great we are.
Yeah, review us, why not? But yeah, we will be back with more shenanigans very soon, and until next time, we will say bye.